Okay, so I hope you can see the book.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So this is the fourth chapter, fourth unit that is on travel and transport. So from the very beginning of the units, from the first unit, we saw the diagrams. Firstly, we saw the charts and graphs in unit one and two. And then we learned how we can describe one diagram or two diagrams together. And then in the third unit that we did in the morning, we learned how we can describe a process or the steps of a process that will be given as a diagram as a whole. Now, for this unit here, we will be looking at maps. So there can also be a task where you will be given a map or a picture of a map, or that could be of a country, of a place, of a park, or a city, or just maybe a resort, or just some sort of map that will be given. And you might need to compare it with now and then, or you might also have to just describe what is going on in the map that will be given, or maybe you have to give some directions. So everything that you have to do will be regarding a map. So for that, let's see what we will be learning from this unit. We will learn how to study and compare two maps, and then we will learn how to read your writing to check for spelling and grammatical errors, because spelling errors and grammatical errors are very important. When the examiner checks, he actually looks for grammatical and spelling errors and cuts the marks there the most. Next is we will learn how to improve the cohesion of your writing. The cohesion of your writing means whether each of the sentences that you're writing go along with each other or not logically. That is cohesion of your writing, by organizing your ideas in a logical way. So whether each of the sentence that you're writing, they're going with one another or not, and whether each of the sentences are logical or not. That is what we're going to see here as well. Lastly, we will learn how to make your writing easier to understand by using cohesive devices. So first, we will look at whether the writing that you're writing is cohesive or not, whether it's going well with one another or not. And lastly, we will also use some devices, not the technological devices, but some terms that will make your writing very smooth and very easygoing. Okay, so that is what we will be seeing in this unit. So let's see the first activity that is given here. Okay, so in activity one, we can see it is written, in writing part one, you may be asked to write about one or more maps. Let's zoom in a bit. So here we can see two maps are given, and one of the maps here is of now, and the other one is about 20 years ago. Right, so this one is the one on the left side is about now, how the map looks now at present, and the one on the right hand side is what it looked 20 years ago. So what we have to do is the box contains useful vocabulary for this type of task. Complete the labels on the maps now and 20 years ago with the correct word from the box. So there is a box given with many words that have to be used to fill in the blanks and to label each of the maps, both of the maps with different words. You have to understand which part of the map describes or shows which thing that is written in the box. So that is what we have to do. And there's a tip given, tip one. It says some of this vocabulary may already be labeled on the maps in the exam. So it's not necessary that you will have all the blanks given. There might be some words in some places mentioned already on the map, but it's better to get prepared for all the blanks so that it's easier for you to attempt during the exam, right? So let's look at the words. We have bridge, church, east, residential area, farm, fields, hills, motorway, north, pond, west, skyscraper, river, south, stadium, windmill. We have many words here. In total, I think 16 words. So you have to label all these pictures according to the words that are given. Okay, so take your time and complete this activity.
Okay. Yes, I'm done.
Okay, great. So let's look at the answers. Give
So
me, yes, go on.
number one, stadium.
Good,
Two, windmill.
right,
Three, skyscraper.
great,
Four, residential area.
great,
Five, motorway.
very good,
Six, east.
good,
Seven, north.
good,
Um, Eight, fields.
very good,
Nine, hills.
great,
10, bridge.
very good,
11, river.
very good.
13, pond.
13
12,
point. Yes, 12,
farm. 13,
very
pond.
good. Yes, good,
14, church.
right,
15, west.
right,
16, south.
excellent. Well done. So you marked all those very correctly. All the places that you named were correct. So now we know how we can label each places or each place, sorry, and how what we can call each of the place that are given in the map, right? So
Yes.
that is what we saw in the first activity here. Moving on to our next activity. Here we will practice reading the maps. So these maps are shown just with illustration and pictures, but we have to interpret and understand what is going on in the maps, right? We just cannot look at it and say that here we can see a pond, we can see a farm, we can see skyscrapers, we can see a residential area. This doesn't happen, right? We have to make a story or make up the sentences and describe what is actually going on in the map and what we see. That is how we can describe it. So, what we have to do in the second activity here is we have to study both the maps of the island now and 20 years ago and discuss these two questions with a partner. So, we will be discussing the two questions that are given here. For number one is which features have changed, and for number two, which features have remained the same. So look at the two maps and let's answer it. And before that, let's look at the second tip given here. For this task, it is important to use prepositions of place appropriately. So we all know what prepositions are, right? Prepositions are the words that are used to make others understand about the placement of a noun or the position of a noun. Those are the prepositions like on, above, in, under, beside, along, by, at. These are all the prepositions that should be used appropriately to describe where each of the things are in the map, right? So let's look at the map, look at that carefully so that we can answer the first question that asks which features have changed. So one of the sentences have already been written here, that is more houses have been built. And what more differences can you see in both of the maps from before and from 20 years ago and of the present time? Look at it, arrange the sentences if necessary, write it down, and then you can tell me the answer of number one.
Yes, I can say now.
Okay, give me the answer to number one, please.
A- Alongside new houses, a lot of new skyscrapers has been built. A new motorway has been constructed so that the farms is separated from the residential area. For the facilities of the people, new industries and a new hospital has been made. And for the entertainment of the people, a stadium has been built too.
Very good. Very good. Good answer. And you did describe the differences very well. So these are the differences or the features that have changed in the 20 years that have gone by, right? And what are the features that have remained the same?
So, from the map that is 20 years ago
Mm-hmm,
and from the map now, we can
mm-hmm.
see that the windmill, the church, and the farm has been the same from before 20 years ago.
Okay. So we can
And
say that the farm and the fields have remained the same from 20 years ago. And what else?
the church has been the same.
Only the church? What about the pond? The pond is
Yes,
the same as well,
bridge. Yes, the pond,
right?
bridge, and the river.
Right. But you can also see that the residential area has also remained the same. Maybe there have been more houses built now, but the area is still the same, right? It did not change. So you can
Yes,
also mention that the church and pond near the residential area have remained the same. Okay?
yes.
So well
Yes.
done. Very good. Very good. Good answer. Give me a moment, please. Okay, in the meanwhile, we can look at the next activity. So for the third one, third activity here, it says, think about your own town. What changes have taken place over the last 10 years? Write sentences using some of the verbs in the box. So the the words given are modernized, knocked down, replaced, built, expanded, renovated, increased, and developed. So what you have to do is you have to make sentences. Say, I will tell you to make 10 sentences using these words about the town that you're living in and about the places around you, how you think it has changed in the last 10 years. And you have to use the 8 words that are given in the box, okay? For
Okay.
example, an example is given here already. Over the last 10 years, more shops and residential areas have been built in my area. So that is one way you can start, or you can also start in your own way. So take 5 minutes time. I think 5 minutes is enough, or do you need more?
5 minutes is enough.
Okay, great. So write 10 sentences about your area. By the way, where do you live, dear?
I live in Central Road.
Okay, so you're quite near me at the moment. Okay, you can complete this in 10 sentences, okay?
Okay. Miss, I'm done.
Yes, go on.
Okay. Over the last 10 years, my area has been modernized in many ways.
Very
A
good.
lot of facilities for the people has been developed over the last 10 years.
Over many facilities have been developed, okay, not has, because you're saying many.
Yes, okay. Have been developed
Good.
the last 10 years.
Hmm.
Many schools and colleges has increased and they were renovated with much more facilities for the students.
Okay, many schools and universities have been
Have
renovated, maybe you said. Yes, it will be
have,
have. Hmm.
have been renovated and there has been increased facilities for the students.
Very good.
The hospitals have been expanded for the patients' good treatment.
Very good.
Many Many hotels have been replaced by new and great restaurants,
Very
and
good.
a old playground was knocked down, and a new town center community building was built instead of it.
Uh, Town center community building, or should it be town community center building? I think this is more appropriate. Town
Okay,
community center building. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Next. Very good.
Yes, these are the 10 sentences.
Oh, it's 10 already.
Yes,
Okay, I counted wrong then. Maybe I missed it from the middle. No problem, but well written. Very good. Very good. Just some simple mistakes. You have to pay attention to
yes,
these whenever you're talking about plural subjects. You have to write have instead of has, okay? When your
okay,
subject is plural. So pay attention to that because grammatical mistakes should not be made, or else very big negative markings can be done in your test. Okay, so well
okay.
done. You use these verbs very well, and you explained about your town, about the changes in your town that happened over the last 10 years. That's great. Okay, now moving on to our next activity, that is activity 4, where we have to look at the grammatical accuracy. Like I just said, you have to be very accurate with your grammar and with the spelling mistakes. So the note that is also given here, it also says that you need to focus on grammatical accuracy in the writing test. It is a very major point. Grammatical accuracy as well as spelling accuracy, both of them should be considered to be very important. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to read the sample answer that is given here and correct the errors that we find. So there are some errors in this sample answer. To be specific, there are 5 spelling mistakes and there are 5 wrongly used tenses. So grammatical mistakes are there, 5 and 5 spelling mistakes are there. What we have to do is we have to read through the sample answer and we have to find out the 5 spelling mistakes and we have to fill these in, and we have to find out the 5 tense mistakes and we have to fill it in. Okay. The first spelling mistake has already been given here. That is, island was spelt wrongly and it was written IRLAND. So that is one of the spelling mistakes. You have to find the rest of the 4. And for the tenses, you have to go through the sample answer and you have to find it. So take some time and complete this work. Is it clear, dear?
Yes,
Okay, great. So complete it. What you can do is, I would like you to read the whole sample answer for once out loud so that I can listen to it,
okay,
to you reading it.
okay. Looking at the two maps, it is evident that this island changed
Mm-hmm.
dramatically in the last 20 years. There has been a great deal of development in the south of the island. A motorway has been building through the center. This divides the existing farm from a newly built hotel, skyscraper, and an increased residential area. The church and pond, however, still remain the same as they always were. There are new developments at the north end of the island. Behind the hills, there is a football stadium. Furthermore, in the east of the island, a large hospital has built with space for car parking. To the east of the hills, the windmill and bridge, features of the original island.
Overall.
Overall, the island has been developed significantly over the last 20 years. This development has occurred in both the south and north of the island, providing more facilities for the people living there.
Okay, good. So I think now it will be easier for you to find out the mistakes, both the spelling and the tense mistakes, right? So find
Yes.
those out and note it down if necessary.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, so give me the spelling mistakes that you found.
So the second one is dramatically
What
in
will be
the
the spelling?
DRAMATICALLY.
Very good. Next one.
Then instead of through, it will be through.
Very good.
TAROUGH.
Excellent. Number four.
Then instead of significantly, it
Mhm.
will be significantly.
Very good.
SIGNIFICANTLY.
Very good. Last one.
Instead of facilities, there it will be facilities.
Very,
FACILITIES.
very good. Well done. And now the tenses. Have you found them or do you need time?
No, I have found them.
Okay, excellent. Go
So
ahead.
the first sentence is a motorway has been building through the center. It will be a motorway has been built through the center.
Okay, before that, do you not find any other tense mistake?
No.
Look at the first sentence. Looking at the two maps, it is evident that this island changed dramatically in the last 20 years. So we are talking about a period of time, right? So a range of time. For that, we cannot use past tense. We have to use past perfect tense.
This island has changed.
Right, not past perfect tense, present perfect tense, because we're talking in the present about a span of time. So it will be has changed. Very good. So that is the first mistake. The second one that you said, repeat again, please.
A motorway has built through the center.
Has been built through the center. That is,
Built.
yes, in the third sentence. It has been built, not building, it will be built. Very good. Then,
Then in the sentence, furthermore, in the east of the island, a large hospital has been built with space for car parking.
very good. Excellent. Then, last one.
Then
Not last one, sorry. There are two more.
eh, the island has
Yes.
been developed
Has been
significantly.
developed. Yes. Very good. Significantly. Very good. The last one.
This development has occurred in both the south and north of the island.
Very good. So this will not be was occurred, it will be has occurred. Excellent. Good work. So this was all about the errors of spelling and tenses from this sample answer that describes these two maps that we just saw. So from here, we can also look at the pattern that we can use to describe the maps that are given to us or that will be given to us if we have to, you know, compare them and describe what are the differences over the time that we can see here. So this is a way that it can be written. So this is all about activity 4 and 5. Moving on, we have two questions here in activity 6, which asks, for number 1, it asks, which tense is mainly used here? Can you tell me which tense
Present.
was, yes, very good, present perfect. Because why do you think present perfect has been used mostly?
Um, because It's used to describe past actions that are also related in the present.
Very good. Excellent answer. Because there is actually a connection between the past actions that we are talking about, and it is related to what is happening in the future as well. Very good. So, in short, we are talking about a span of time that is also related to the present. That is why we are using present perfect. Excellent answer. Very well done, dear. Okay, now moving on to the next part. Here we have to see the coherence and cohesion. Do you know the difference between these two words? Do you
As
know?
you that
Yes.
as you said, that cohesion means that the relation between the sentences or the ideas in my writing,
Mm-hmm.
and the cohesion means something that's more in, like, if my ideas are organized well, or they are logical or factual or something
It's
like that.
actually the opposite.
Oh,
Coherence, the first one, that means to be logical and to have a stately order. That is coherence. Whether each of the sentences are logical or not, whether each of the sentences go with one another or not, that is coherence. And cohesion is the way or the state in which the whole paragraph or the whole writing is coming together and one sentence is sticking to the other and it is continuing from the previous sentence that we are writing. So here it is, there's a note given to clarify your confusion more if you did not understand by what I told you. The two other aspects you must take in consideration in the exam are coherence and cohesion. Coherence, is it easy to understand? Are your ideas organized in a logical way? That is coherence. So the way that you are making others understand, whether it is easy to understand or not, whether the way you organized your writing, whether that is logical or not, that is coherence. And cohesion is whether the ideas and the statements that you're writing, whether they're all connected in a proper way or not. That is cohesion. Both are quite similar, but then again, both are very different as well. Okay, so you have to pay attention to both these points after paying attention to the grammatical errors and the spelling errors. So these 4 points should be kept in mind from the very beginning. Okay.
yes.
So, moving on to the next map that we can see here, we can see two maps of Mumbai. One is from before 1845, when Mumbai had many islands. It was not one whole piece of land. It consisted of many islands together around each other. But in the present day, it is a piece of land altogether, and it has many other places that have been named in a new way, and it has other constructions in it too. So we have to look into these map properly, and then we have to move into our next activity, that is activity 8, where we have been given 10 sentences which compare the two maps. So let's read the 10 sentences comparing the two maps. I will zoom out a bit so that we can see the map as well as the sentences. Okay, can you read the 10 sentences for me, please?
Yes. Number one, these two maps show that since 1845, Mumbai has changed considerably.
Good.
Considerably.
Considerably.
Two, there are railway lines which run through the central area, as do many major roads. Three, one feature which has remained the same, however, is the names given to the areas of Mumbai.
Mhm.
4. In particular, it has many facilities such as hotels, cinemas, churches, and hospitals. Number 5. There is also a harbour located to the east of the Mazagaon.
Good.
6. Looking at the map of Mumbai today, we can see it is now a highly developed area with lots of facilities. 7. Overall, therefore, these two maps clearly illustrate that this area has changed significantly since the 1800s. 8. Furthermore, there are also several transport links which now connect this area together. 9. Before 1845, Mumbai was made up of 7 different islands as opposed to the one mainland which exists today. 10. For example, the south part of the city is called Kolaba after the original island, while the north part is called Worli and Parel and the east part Mazagaon.
Okay, well done. So, from reading the 10 sentences here, do you think that all these sentences are in order? The way
Mm,
that it has been explained, do you think it is in order?
no, I don't think so.
Why do you not think so?
Because the introduction is not in the first line,
Mhm.
and also the conclusions are in the middle of the sentences, and the paragraphs are not arranged well.
Very good. Good observation, and you are correct. So, what we have to do now is that in our next activity, we have some questions given where we have to answer those by um, selecting the statements that are given above. Okay, so let's look at what number 9 says. At the moment, the order of the sentences in exercise 8 is not coherent or logical. So, see what you said, it is not logical the way it is being numbered. So what we have to do is, also it is not making the meaning difficult. It is making the meaning difficult for the reader to understand. So because it is not in order, that is why we are not understanding, we're unable to understand the actual presentation of the map that is given here, right? Because if it was in order, we would have understood what comes first and what happened, how it happened, how Mumbai was developed and how it has many facilities now from where it started. So if it was in order, we would have got the logic of how this happened. So what we have to do is we have to put the sentences in logical order by answering the questions that are asked here. So for number 1, it asks us which sentences would you put in the introduction? So according to you, which of the sentences should be included in the introduction of the answer? Do you need
Um,
time? Then we can go through the questions and then you can decide. So for number 2, which sentences would you put in the first paragraph describing what changed? And in number 3, what sentences would you put in the second paragraph describing what has remained the same? So they are also giving you the clue along with the question, that what you should mention in the first paragraph and what you should mention in the second paragraph in questions number 2 and 3. And lastly, in number 4, which sentences would you put in the summary at the end? So find these out. If you need time, take some time, find these out.
okay. I'm done.
Okay, so for number one, which of the sentences would you include in your introduction?
So the number one sentence I think I would include in my introduction.
Very good. Yes, good choice, correct choice. And any more?
No.
Okay. For the second question, which one would you include? Which of the questions would you include in your first paragraph, where you have to mention or describe what has changed?
So in the first line, I would include the six number sentence,
Okay.
then four,
Mhm.
then nine,
Okay.
then eight,
All right.
then two and five.
Okay. Two already you said. So six,
Oh,
two, four, eight, five. That is actually the correct order. So keep in mind six, where they say that looking at the map of Mumbai today, we can see it is now highly developed area with lots of facilities. And then comes number two, there are railway lines which run through the central area, as do many major roads. Then comes four, that is, in particular, it has many facilities such as hotels, cinemas, churches, and hospitals. Then is number eight, where it says, furthermore, there are also several transport links which now connect this area together. Then there is number five. There is also a harbor located to the east of Mazagaon. And there is one more inclusion, that is number nine. Number nine can be included in the in the introduction as well as in the first paragraph. So either ways, either you can add it in the introduction in after adding the first number one in your introduction, or you can skip writing this in the introduction. You can add number nine in your first paragraph, where you can start with number nine, where you can firstly state that before 1845, Mumbai was made up of seven different islands as opposed to the one main land which exists today. And then you can continue with number six. Looking at the map of Mumbai today, we can see it is now a highly developed area with lots of facilities. Got it? Here, dear?
yes, I got it.
Okay, great. So for the second paragraph, where you have to mention or you have to describe what remains the same, which numbers should you include?
Firstly number three and then 10.
Very good, right. So first you have to mention number three, where it says that one feature which has remained the same, however, is the names given to the areas of Mumbai. And then lastly, you have to give an example that the south part of the city is called Kolaba after the original island, and while the north part is called Worli and Parel, and east part is Mazagaon. Very good. What about the last paragraph? That is the concluding paragraph. What will you be, um, which number will you be using there? The concluding paragraph or the summary?
7.
Very good. Seven. So, as we all know that in the end, we have to give an overall review or overall view, not review, of the whole thing that we just described. So it will be number seven, where we say overall, therefore, these two maps clearly illustrate that this area has changed significantly since the 1800s. Very good. Well done. So that is how we should order the sentences or the descriptions that we're writing. So in this way, you also had a practice of which type of descriptions should come first, how you should write the introduction, how you can write the first paragraph of the main body and the second paragraph of the main body, and lastly, how you can conclude the description with a nice summary or a nice conclusion, right? So that
Yes.
is a good way to learn this. Now, moving on to number 10. Here we can look at how the devices in these tables are used in the sentences in exercise 8. So remember in the very beginning, it was said that we will be learning about the cohesive devices that we can use in order to sum up the text that you are going to write, right? So these
Yeah.
are the five devices, not five devices, sorry. Um, Yes, five devices. One is adding an idea, number two is similarity, number three is highlighting, number four is contrast, and number five is summary. So these are the five ways that we can actually make a passage or a writing very cohesive and coherent. Okay, we can make it logical and we can make it coherent, that is logical, and we can make it cohesive by using some certain phrases and words that should be included in the beginning or in the middle or at the end of the sentences so that it seems that one sentence, after saying one sentence, the other sentence is continuing the same story or the same context in the whole text that you're writing. Okay, so look at the note that is given here. Here it is written: in order to make a text read well, you need to use cohesive devices. These are words or short phrases which help guide the reader through your writing by linking sentences and paragraphs. Good use of these devices will make what you have written easy to follow. Without them, your writing may be difficult to read with too many short sentences. Understood? Is it clear
Yes.
what these devices do? These devices are actually groups of phrases or words that are short words that are used in order to link each of your sentence with the next one that you're writing. So let's see what are the devices that are used in the sentences in exercise 8. So the sentences that we just saw, what do you think are the devices that are used for adding idea, similarity, highlighting, contrast, summary, and so on? So it is already given here for us so that it's easier for us to understand that which of the devices are which type of device, which of the words are which type of device from each of the sentences here. So for adding an idea, when we are trying to add an idea to a sentence, we use furthermore. So where is furthermore? Can you tell me? It's in number
Um,
8, right?
number. Yes.
Yes. So for number 8, here we're trying to add more ideas. For example, there are also several transports. So we're talking more about transports and we're adding more ideas about transports. That is why we're using furthermore at the beginning of the sentence, as well as also. You see, there are also several transports. These two are used to add ideas. Next is to show similarity. To show similarity, we use as do. So
Number
for
two.
number
Yes.
2, very good. There are railway lines which run through the central area, as do many major roads. As do means um, it's the same for the major roads as well. So it is the same meaning. They're showing the similarity between the lines that run through the central area as well as the major roads. Next is for highlighting. To highlight a particular fact or to emphasize on a particular fact, we can use in particular. So where is it used? In particular is used
In
in number 4, right?
yes.
So in particular, it has many facilities such as hotels, cinemas, churches, and hospitals. So we're emphasizing on the facilities that this city has. Okay, for that we are using in particular, we are highlighting it. Next is for the contrast. The contrast is actually the difference. To show that, we use as opposed to. So where do you see as opposed to?
In eight, nine.
9. Very good. So for this one here, we are showing the difference between the before how Mumbai was and how it is now. So before it was made up of 7 different islands as opposed to the one main island, one mainland which exists today. So the difference between the two timelines, that is what we're showing here. We're showing the contrast. For that, we're writing as opposed to. And for summarizing, we all know that we write overall, right? That is
Yes.
in number 7. To show that we are talking about the whole thing together as a whole, and we're summarizing it, we use overall in the very beginning. So these are the devices and the words that are used in order to um, to show the differences between the lines as well as to link up the lines that we're writing. So now that we know which words are actually considered as which device, what we can do is there is a box in number 11 that contains more words and short phrases which help to link your ideas together. So we have to take each of the phrases and the short phrases and words, and we have to put it in the correct column of the five devices that are given here. So we have to take all the 10 phrases from the box, and we either have to put it in number one column, that is adding idea, or we have to put it under the second column, that is similarity. So which phrase actually represents which device, that is what we have to find, and we have to put it in correctly. Okay, is it clear?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so take your time and put it in under the columns.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, so give me the phrases that should be put under the first device, that is adding an idea.
In addition,
Very
more
good.
of what is
Mm-hmm.
more.
Very good. Number two,
Similarly,
very good.
and nothing
Anything else?
else.
Okay,
No.
very good. And number three,
Particularly,
very good, particularly. Then is number four.
in comparison, in
Mhm.
contrast,
Very good. And the last one for summarizing,
in conclusion, to conclude, to summarize.
excellent, wonderful work. So now that you know which of the phrases you should use where, I think it will be easier for you to write the description of the maps as well as the diagrams that you studied about. Also, the um, the last thing, the process that we learned. So whenever you're using these cohesive devices and these phrases in any sort of writing, that could be an essay, that could be a description, or anything. It could be an article. If you use these phrases, the writing becomes more appealing and more understanding. So it is better to use these phrases and words in all of the writings that you always do, not only for this part, okay? So I highly encourage you to use these words in your other writing tasks as well, so that the writing seems to be very seamless and very linked up and very, you know, easy to understand.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So now, moving on to our last activity of today, that is activity 12. Oops, sorry. What we have to do here is we have some sentences that have boxes that need to be completed, and we have to take the words from the box in number 11. So we have to understand by reading the sentences which of the words or phrases from box 11 should be put into each of the blanks. You can have more than one answer for each of the sentences, but you can put in the words or the phrases that you think suits the best, okay? So let's read
Okay.
the five sentences that are given. First is 50 years ago, there weren't any main roads in this town, dash to the developed area, which can be seen today. Number two, the maps illustrate how the school has developed over the last 5 years. There is now a computer lab and dash extra classrooms have been built. Number three, dash, both maps show how the facilities in the park have improved over the last year. Number four, the south end of the island has changed the most, dash the residential area, which has increased dramatically in size. Number five, the first map shows that the area has many shops and restaurants, dash the second map features a large area used for leisure. So if you need time, you can take time and fill in the blanks.
Okay. Yes, I'm done.
Done? Okay, yes. Go on. Start from number one.
Number one, the 50 years ago, there weren't any main roads in this town in comparison to the developed area which can be seen today.
Very good.
2. The maps illustrate how the school has developed over the last 5 years. There is now a computer lab, and in addition, extra classrooms have been built.
Very good.
3. Similarly, both maps show how the facilities in the park have improved over the last year.
Will it be similarly?
Yes,
Uh,
because the
mhm.
like the previous sentence also told how the maps illustrate the school
Oh
has.
no, the sentences are completely separate. They're not in order. So if you are thinking so, it is not that actually. You have to
Okay.
make sense of each of the sentences itself. So for number three, it will actually be some other phrase. What will it be? Because you're summing it up. You're talking about what both of the maps are showing and how it has improved or how it has changed. So which phrase do you think
To
should be in this?
summarize.
Yes, very good. To summarize, in conclusion, to conclude, all these three are possible answers for this. Okay,
Okay.
very good that you figured it out. Okay, number four.
The south end of the island has changed the most, particularly the residential area, which has increased dramatically in size.
Very good.
5. The first map shows that the area has many shops and restaurants. In contrast, the second map features a large area used for leisure.
Very good. Well done. So other than number three, you were very confident about the rest four of them. But for number three, I know you had a reason to get confused, but this is fine. So now I think your confusion has been cleared. So
Yeah.
now that we know how we should write or how we should describe the maps that we might get in our exams and in our test, we know how to write about it. We know what phrases to use and how we should put each of these phrases in the beginning of some sentences or in the middle of the sentences in order to make it cohesive. And we should also make each of the sentences coherent, right? That is logical. So what we can do is we can move on to the exam skills part where now you will be tested by the homework that you'll get here. So here what you have to do is you have to use the information and language as always that you just learned from this lesson and you take 20 minutes time and you see the following map that shows some of the changes that have been taken place in Dubai in recent decades. So we have to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features that you see have changed and make comparison where relevant. So you see the changes and you mention those and you make comparison between these and then you summarize the whole thing at the end, right? So keep this in 150 words and try to complete it within 15 minutes, not 20 minutes. Your target should be 15 minutes. The faster you can complete while you're practicing, the faster you can do it in your exams, okay? So keep the target for 15 minutes and complete this at home. Inshallah, the rest of the works that you submitted today and including this one, I will discuss it in the next class. Okay, that is tomorrow. Okay,
Okay.
so let's
Okay.
keep it till here for today. I hope you don't have any confusions.
No, I don't have any confusion.
Okay, that's great. So let's keep it till here for today. Inshallah, I'll see you next class. That is tomorrow morning. Okay, dear.
Okay.
Okay, bye bye.